Hare Krishna. I'll be reading about Raghunath Das Goswami, 1495 to 1571. Raghunath Das was born of a Vaishnava family in the village of Chandpur, West Bengal. He was an only child and his father, Govardhana Majumdar, was one of the most wealthy and powerful men in the whole state. He and his brother Hiranya managed the district of Saptagram and paid considerable taxes to the Muslim emperor. In his boyhood, Raghunath Das received the best education possible. He was taught Krishna consciousness by Balaram Acharya, who in turn introduced him to the great saint Haridas Thakur. This had a wonderful effect on Raghunath Das, and as he grew into his teens, his devotion similarly blossomed. He listened to many stories about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but one day, when he heard that the Lord was in the nearby Shantipur, his eagerness to meet him knew no bounds. Although only 15 years old, Raghunath ran away from home to meet his Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately recognized him as his eternal servant, and while the boy bowed at his lotus feet, the Lord benedicted him with the touch of his toe. Raghunath Das stayed in the Lord's company for several days before returning home. Govardhan, the boy's father, was very concerned that his only son was so much attracted to the life of a sadhu. He appeared to be completely disinterested in money and material pleasures. Govardhan naturally wanted his son to inherit his estate. 4 years later, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again visited Shantipur, Govardhan was afraid that his son would run away again, never to return. Taking control of this situation, he sent Raghunath to Shantipur with an escort to closely guard him. Upon again meeting the Lord of his heart, Raghunath Das's eyes brimmed with tears. Sri Chaitanya, completely understanding the young man's position, welcomed him with so much affection, but encouraged him to return home. For the time being, return home and live like an ordinary householder, he instructed. When the proper time comes, Lord Krishna will guide you towards a life of renunciation. After some days, Raghunath reluctantly returned home and dutifully followed Sri Chaitanya's instructions. He was married to a chaste and beautiful girl and helped Govardhan manage the prosperous Majumdar estate. Despite this, in his heart he longed for the day he could leave it all behind and live the simple life of an ascetic. Raghunath Das saves his family. Now, it so happened that Raghunath's uncle Hiranya had collected 20 lakh coins in taxes. Of this, he was supposed to pay the king's treasury 15 lakh. Instead, he only paid 13 lakh coins and kept the rest for himself. Hiranya formally took over the position of tax collector from a man who now wanted revenge for losing his job. The enemy informed the Minister of Finance that the figures in the account books had been changed. The minister and his men came to Saptagram, but Govardhan and Hiranya were away at that time. Raghunath Das was arrested. "Where is your father and his brother?" demanded the minister. "Dear sir," replied Raghunath, "I only know they are on a long business trip. Please believe me, that is all I know." Believing this to be true, Raghunath's captors continued to listen. Raghunath spoke sweetly about spiritual values and the brotherhood of man, saying, "My father, my uncle Hiranya, and your good selves are all just like brothers, and as such, I am just like your son. Today there is a disagreement, but tomorrow everything will again be all right. This is the way things are with brothers. Being wise in the knowledge of the scriptures, you are like saints. Please do the right thing." Raghunath spoke so sincerely that his questioners were inspired to release him. As a result, when Govardhan and Hiranya returned, they settled the matter peacefully. In this way, Raghunath's humility saved his family from serious trouble. Sometime later, Nityanand Prabhu was on tour performing Harinam Sankirtan with hundreds of devotees, singing, dancing, and playing drums and kartalas. The travelling party stayed at the village of Panihati for 3 months of the rainy season. Hearing that Lord Chaitanya's chief preacher was nearby, Raghunath Das asked his father for permission to visit him. His father agreed on the condition that he was accompanied by the usual attendants. When Raghunath arrived at Panihati, he was blessed to see Nityanand Prabhu sitting on a rock beneath a splendid banyan tree and surrounded by hundreds of devotees. His form shone with spiritual power, resembling a bright moon in the sky full of stars. Awestruck at this magnificent sight, Raghunath humbly offered his obeisances from a distance, hoping to remain unnoticed. However, Nityanand, with a twinkle in his eye, immediately called out, "You are a thief, Raghunath Das. Come here and be punished." Extremely embarrassed, he slowly approached Nityanand Prabhu, who immediately seized him and placed his holy feet on his head. In good humor, the Lord then ordered, "For punishment, you must prepare a big festival and feed all these devotees with yogurt and chipped rice." Raghunath became immediately jubilant and sent his servants to buy the necessary ingredients. Many devotees helped with the cooking and soon prepared a great feast of chipped rice, yogurt, condensed milk, and various savories. 400 large earthen pots were used for the chipped rice alone. After a beautiful kirtan, everyone sat to honor the prasad. Lord Chaitanya himself appeared in a spiritual form, unseen by ordinary eyes, and tasted morsels from different devotees' plates as they were popped into his mouth by Nityanand Prabhu. In a playful mood, Sri Chaitanya did the same to Nityanand. In great happiness, Raghunath saw all this. After the feast, he distributed gold and jewels to the devotees present. This wonderful festival has since been celebrated annually and is known as the Dand Mahotsav, which literally means the festival of punishment. Having received the mercy of both Sri Chaitanya and Nityanand Prabhu, our hero Raghunath was reluctant to leave. His escort of guards made sure he returned home. For Raghunath, life apart from Sri Chaitanya was now unbearable. His father, suspecting he would run away at the first opportunity, doubled the guard. Raghunath knew he had to be patient and waited for the right time. The chance came when one evening Yadunandan Acharya, the family priest, took Raghunath to perform a religious ritual. Confident that the boy was in good hands, the guards went to sleep early that night. However, when the priest's attention was diverted, Raghunath escaped. He moved swiftly through village after village, and then, to avoid detection, passed through the jungle. After walking 30 miles, he found a barn in which he slept. His only thought was how to get to Jagannath Puri for the Rath Yatra festival. He knew Sri Chaitanya, Nityanand Prabhu and all the Vaishnavas would be there. With great determination, he travelled for 12 days, and during that time ate only 3 meals. Finally, arriving at Jagannath Puri, Raghunath went directly to Mahaprabhu and in a mood of great devotion clasped his Lord's lotus feet. Joyful to see his beloved servant again, the Lord embraced him. Then calling out to his confidential secretary Swarup Damodar, the Lord said, "My dear Swarup, please take care of this Raghunath Das and treat him as your very own son." In this way, Sri Chaitanya fully accepted Raghunath into his family of devotees. All the Vaishnavas were amazed at his good fortune. Raghunath, under the care and guidance of his Guru Swarup Damodar, was able to respect the sacred remnants of Sri Chaitanya's food, but preferred to take very simple prasad from the Jagannath temple, just enough to keep body and soul together. He slept very little, but day and night would chant the holy name of Lord Krishna and devotedly serve Mahaprabhu. After some time went by, his family heard news of his whereabouts and his severe austerities. They were grief-stricken and immediately sent wealth, servants and a Brahmin cook to take care of his needs. At first, Raghunath turned his back on these gifts, but out of affection for his doting parents, accepted the treasures to use in the service of Lord Chaitanya. Raghunath continued to accept regular gifts from his family for 2 years, then stopped. In this way, Raghunath increased his renunciation, for he wanted to avoid becoming attached to anything material. Sri Chaitanya was extremely pleased with Raghunath's decision and rewarded him with 2 of his personal possessions. One was a stone from Govardhana hill, and the other a garland of small corn shells from Vrindavan. Raghunath gratefully received these gifts of love. As the years progressed, Raghunath's austerities increased to the point where he drank only a little buttermilk. Daily, without fail, he would offer 1,000 obeisances to the Lord and 2,000 to the devotees. He would also chant 100,000 holy names. He developed such great spiritual power that sages would travel from all over India just to hear his instructions. Raghunath had been in Puri for 16 years when Sri Chaitanya left this world. Before going, he had instructed Raghunath to move to Vrindavan to help Rup and Sanatan Goswami with their service of writing, constructing temples and discovering holy sites. At the age of 40, Raghunath moved to Vrindavan and spent the remainder of his life following these instructions. Raghunath Das Goswami has 2 burial shrines, one at Radha Kund and the other near the Govindji temple. In Krishna Leela, he is Ras or Rati Manjri. Raghunath Das Goswami ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.